in your early 20s, you will experience a period of time where you start to realize that you're less aligned with people, or people are going in different directions, people are taking different paths from you. It's such a year of like expansion and divergence, where you're really able to assess in real time whether or not people are actually for you or not. And it's also a massive period of time for growth, and because there's so much growth, because you're doing so much to like elevate yourself, you're choosing yourself, you're making kind of big life choices, that growth is going to cause some people to either keep up with that growth, or it's going to cause some people to remain behind and not grow at the same rate as you, or grow in a different direction from you. And that is also going to lead to the end of a friendship, the end of a relationship, the end of just a connection that you have with somebody. And it's a really hard period. And I'm guessing you clicked on this video because you're struggling at the moment with that period of time in your life, and you're just feeling this sense of like, you know, I either want to be alone, I am in like a solitary period, and I've just been so traumatized by friends that maybe I just want to have some time to just not focus so much on the connections I have in my life. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. I hope you are thriving and enjoying life and excited for 2024 and the new quarter that we are in. I feel like this is the period of time now where I'm just like, okay, I can actually get on with my goals. Like, it was literally like such a slog to do stuff the past 3 months and actually work towards goals, but now it's like, you know what, I'm ready and raring to go. You know what, I'm going to make 2024 my year. And I always said this at the beginning of the year, I was like, 2024 is my year, gonna make it so, and it's gonna be your year as well. Over this past sort of like year, I've experienced so much friendship trauma and having to like walk away from certain friendships, and I just feel like so exhausted to the point where like now I just feel like so reluctant to enter into new friendships with people, to enter into new connections with people, because I just feel like I've, you know, entered into friendships in the past like, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, and it's ended in tragedy. It's ended in me feeling hurt. It's ended in me realizing that that person was like using me or abusing me, or, you know, utilizing, weaponizing the fact that I had these people pleaser tendencies. And of course, you know, in the past 2 years, I've really been growing, and I've really been like working on that part of me where I'm becoming less of a people pleaser and learning to stand up for myself more regularly, certainly when it comes to friendships, and just talking to people about how I feel and being honest even when they've hurt me. And I think that's ended up like causing a lot of the friendships to end, because I've started standing up for myself, because I've started you know being like, I don't have time for this, like it doesn't make me feel good. And it's been really upsetting to realize and reflect on the fact that many of the friendships that I had were only benefiting that other person, and I kept them around because I didn't have much confidence in myself. I consistently gaslit myself thinking no, they surely wouldn't do that. And actually they were just like wanting my downfall, and it was like this evil eye thing going on. And it wasn't just like 1 or 2 people, it was like multiple people. And these people were like significant for like 5 or 6 years of my life, you know, during my uni years and stuff. I'm not ready at the moment to see it as like, oh, that was nice at the time, and I appreciate that it was nice at the time, but like I'm here now and that's where I'm at, because I'm still grieving the fact that I feel like manipulated, and it's been really hard, and it's just forced me into this place of just wanting to be on my own and just honestly like not wanting that many friends right now. Like in my mid-20s, I didn't really expect to feel like I just didn't want friends, and of course, you know, I have friends, and I do actually have really good friends, but I just don't feel like inclined to make any more. But my friendships are like very high energy and very high vibrational, but they're very low maintenance, and I think my friends also prefer that situation as well. Like in a couple of my former friendships, like, you know, they'd say to me, you're my best friend and everything, and we were close. But obviously now recognizing that, I realized that it was like an abusive connection, like it was abusive like dynamic. And so obviously now realizing that that was just like made up basically and like not real. I can count on one hand how many people I feel like I can be my authentic self with, and not only sort of grieving those relationships, but also feeling like I don't trust anybody because I feel like I'm just gonna get shafted in the end. Basically want to reassure you that it's okay if you feel the same. It's okay if you're craving solitude. It's okay if you're craving this period of time where you just don't have that many friends, or you're not seeing your friends as much. And obviously it's always good to communicate these things so they're not like where's, you know, Hattie or whatever. But I'm just in that space of just not seeking out new friendships even after I've like lost friends. And I think that as well, it's like a testament to my growth as like a recovering people pleaser as well, because one of the beliefs I used to have as a people pleaser was that like the more people I had in my life and the more friends I had, the more valuable I was and the more value I could attach to myself. And then the moment that I lost a friend, or the moment that I beefed a friend or something like that, or something just went downhill, my value or my inherent value would somehow change or reduce. I think this period of time is forcing me to be like, you are valuable irrespective of how many friends you have. You are a good person and of inherent greatness and value, without having to validate that with having loads of friends. And again, it relates back to that idea of like wanting to be liked. And again, I've been forced to not be liked. Like the universe has forced me to be in this space where I'm like the villain in some people's stories. I am not liked by quite a few people, and people that really knew me as well. It's really forced me to like heal that part of me, which I'm really grateful for, because obviously it's liberating then. You're not constantly having to rely on other people's validation or presence or existence in your life in order to feel valuable. And I was so desperate to get to that place. I was so desperate to be in a place where I was like, you know, it doesn't matter if anybody doesn't like me, I'm valuable as I am. You know who I think of when I think of this? I think of Maeve Wiley from Sex Education. Like, she does not give a fuck whether or not people like her or not. Like, she literally has like very few friends, very few connections, and she's just a boss. Like, she doesn't give a fuck, and she's like, you know, happy writing and creating like amazing literature and stuff. Like, she's really clever and intelligent and, you know, whatever, and obviously does form connections with people. But I just really like that attitude, and low-key I kind of wish I had that at school, where I just like didn't care if I didn't have any friends. I have mentioned it in a former video, but like, funnily enough, the less you care about being liked, the less you care about being likable, the more actually attractive you are, the more drawn in people are to you, because you're like authentic and you're just your honest self. People find you more trustworthy because you're not changing who you are in order to like please them. You're just being who you are, and they back that. I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for that period of time, this period of time even, of like solitude, reflection, and just being okay with like not having that many friends or not wanting to make any new friends anyway. And it's so weird for me to say that, because I can think of like even just me like 2 years ago, like that is like the most like, oh my god, sorry, I've like moved again. That is like the most like fearful place I think I could have been in, or like the fear-inducing place I could be in. Like, that would have really stressed me out like a few years ago, and now I'm just like, no, I'm actually thriving without like that part of my life as much, and it's actually been so much better. And I think it's such a normal part of your 20s. You're really realizing who you are, and therefore who shouldn't really be around in your life, or who reminds you, or who is still attached to that version of you who you were before, attached to that former version of you, attached to that unhealed version of you, and those people really do have to go. I think as well, like over time, I have become so much more introverted. I used to be a very staunch extrovert. I was very much in need of other people's energy in order to be recharged. Like, I always wanted to be around people. I remember it actually, like looking back on this, I was like, Jesus. I remember like somebody saying to me in my first year of uni, like, oh, you know, I get bored when I'm not around other people. And I was never that bad. Like, I've always been like a little bit half and half. And I remember thinking, you know, like, God, that's mad to have to like rely so much on like other people's energy in order to feel recharged. Like, obviously everybody's different, but I think as I got older, I just realised that actually, as somebody who's also sensitive and probably does veer towards recharging on their own, I have started to really enjoy solitude and like being on my own, and just being around like my family, like being around my partner, and just having a lot of time to myself. I'm very good at like preoccupying myself. I have like loads of hobbies. I remember like as a kid, my parents were amazing because they made sure that me and my brother always had time to ourselves, so we were able to preoccupy ourselves from a very young age. And I'm so grateful for that, because I don't really ever find myself, I don't think I've been bored in literally like 10 years. I honestly don't think I've ever been bored. Like maybe when I was at school and I lived a bit far out, so I couldn't go and see my friends, but like I don't remember for the past 10 years definitely ever being bored. Like, I honestly am always able to read or do makeup or film or create or something, go out with my parents. I'm always not entertained like that, but I can always preoccupy myself. And I think this is something that I'm really appreciating now. I'm able to like focus my energies and be more intentional with my time. I'm not like, that's a great thing about like moving on from certain friends as well, or certain people, is that you're not agonizing or wasting so much of your energy, like agonizing over the friendship, agonizing over the relationship, agonizing over like whether or not they like you, whether or not they're in your good book, you're in their good books, or whether or not there was some like undertone that you can't sense, like agonizing and like overthinking about their behavior towards you, and you're just like, oh my god, I don't have to deal with any of that. Like, it's literally, for me, that is bliss. As somebody who's been like agonizing over being liked and like how other people feel about me since the earliest I can remember, probably middle school, it's so liberating to not really think about that. Like now, if I'm concerned about a friendship or worried about where I stand with a friend, and I'm thinking about it for more than like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something, basically short term, then I'm like, that's a red flag. Like, you shouldn't be feeling like that. You know, your friends shouldn't make you feel uncertain of like where you stand with them, and they should want to make you feel reassured of that, just like, you know, I would want to do that. So I think now, knowing what it's like to not worry about friends and where they stand, and basically having good friends, it's like the moment that I feel like something's off or something doesn't feel right, I'm a bit more sensitive to it, and I'm very like, I don't want to feel like this though. And it's different from just having like important conversations, and important uncomfortable conversations. I'm talking about like that guttural feeling of like, I really don't feel good about this situation or this person, or, you know, whatever's going on. I don't want to experience that anymore. I've been so exhausted by that trauma that I just don't have the capacity for anything that doesn't make me feel good, and for anybody that doesn't make me feel good. And I think that's a really great place to be in. It's like, you're so caring and considerate of yourself and so intentional with your time and energy that anything that feels like a waste or feels like is taking up way too much of your time that could be spent on things you actually enjoy, then it's got to go, you know. And then that again plays into being intentional with my time. Like, the great thing about this is, like I said, I've freed up all this capacity and all this time to be focusing on people that make me happy, spending time with people that like spending time with me. I have so much capacity for like working towards building a platform, or building up a TikTok following, or singing and doing art and writing. That's been such a blessing. And I think it's so uncomfortable to go through that period of time where it is traumatizing and you are finding out who's for you and who's not, and like losing people and that kind of thing, and then sitting in the solitude. But actually what you find is that you have this most euphoric peace, and that's what I've been craving for fucking years. I've been craving that for years, and I'm finally at a place where I'm doing what I love like most days, and I'm with people that I love all the time, and that is like, if that's not like fulfillment, I don't really know what is. And I'm so glad to have that period of time, and I'm enjoying the solitude. I don't feel this like craving towards like, oh, I really want to go out and like socialize. Like, I don't even want to socialize. And this is so weird for me, because I feel like I've always been such a social butterfly, and somebody that's really enjoyed that social excitement and chatting to, you know, people I haven't seen in a while, or chatting to new people. Now, honestly, I've started a job where my parents live, because I've moved home just while I save up for Australia, and I've got a part-time job. I had like a couple of shifts there recently, and I saw like 5 or 6 people that I knew, and I was just like, I hate this. Like, back in the day, old me would be like, no, I love this, like, this is like, oh my god, hi everybody. I saw one person I do really like, and it was really nice to see them, but I saw people that I didn't really know that well, and I was like, oh, I've probably spoke to you at school, and it was just like, oh, I'm really not, I don't like this. Like, I don't like seeing people that I know, because I feel like I'm being reminded of like my former version of me, and that's on me fully. But like, it's a bit of a weird situation. I just don't feel like socializing, honoring that part of my life. And I'm sure eventually I'll get back to like wanting to socialize, wanting to, you know, definitely want to go to Australia. I want to socialize, I want to go out, I want to like meet new people. But for now, like, I'm enjoying just focusing on my hobbies, focusing on what I love, and being around my family, and just being on my own, preoccupying myself. Like, it's the most peaceful, idyllic place. You know what, I had a comment on one of my TikToks the other day, and I sort of said, you know, there is this in-between period where you have the people that were not for you have kind of fallen by the wayside, and then that period of time in between, and then there's that period of time when you start to like open up to new connections, and you kind of start drawing in the right people and so on. There has to be that period of recalibration, and I think that's what's necessary. Is like, when you've gone through, especially trauma as well, like when you've been so traumatized by people, and like how they treated you. You have to have that time to reflect and recalibrate and like collect yourself before then getting involved with like new connections. And I think it goes the same, you know, we often say after a relationship you can't be jumping into another relationship because you haven't even had time to process it or recalibrate. And I know it's painful and most people want to avoid that, but you have to have that time to like recalibrate and find yourself again and just come back to this neutral place, rather than like I was with this person and now opposite I'm with another person. There was like no time to just be neutral. And I think I'm gonna move again. There needs to be a period of time where there is that neutrality and that period of time where you recalibrate. So it's okay in that period of time if you have no friends. It's okay in that period of time if you have fewer friends or you're just a bit solitary and you kind of go off grid. And again, important to communicate this with the people in your life, but it's okay to like tell people, look, I want to have some time on my own. It's got nothing to do with you. I just want solitariness. That's not a word. I want to be in solitude. That's okay, because you need to heal. You need to like take time away from doing that, because you're not letting yourself reflect and work out what you want and what you don't want. You're not letting yourself relax and like have peace after a turbulent and tumultuous period of time that is experiencing trauma and experiencing negative things. Having that period to recalibrate and like take your mind away from that and refocus it on things that you enjoy, and finding yourself again through those things is so important. And that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm really enjoying. And I think, you know, if you're experiencing the same thing in not even in your 20s, like this can happen literally at any point, but I feel like I'm in my 20s, so I'm like noticing that me and like other people are having the same experience. And actually my mum said the other day, like when she was in her 20s, that kind of happened. Like it's so normal. Like some people are like having families, some people are traveling, some people are like, you know, at uni and everything. Like everybody's doing something different, and all I can describe it as like divergence. Like everything's happening all at the same time, and all these feelings and all these experiences, and then eventually it will come like back to converge, and it will be more simple and it will be more clear. There's like not a huge amount of clarity in your 20s, and I think that's definitely something that a lot of people experience. Is there's, you know, you're still working out who you are and what you're willing to tolerate and what you're willing to not tolerate, what works for you and what doesn't, like who you really are, what matters to you. You're less tolerant of things that don't make you feel good. I think certainly when I was at school, like I would tolerate shitty ass people because like you had to, and you thought there was no other option. And then when you get to your 20s, you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to be proximate to this person. I don't have to deal with this feeling anymore. And so you don't have to. And it's like realizing, wait a minute, I don't have to put up with shit in order to like exist. I can actually have a really fulfilling life. And a lot of people don't necessarily realize that life doesn't have to be chaotic, and I think 20s are chaotic. All this to say really is that like it's okay to be on your own, that you want peace, and peace is of utmost importance. Like now at 26, I'm like, that's all I want, and anything that doesn't contribute to my peace I'm very avoidant of. I just don't want it. I've had such a chaotic life up until this point, and I just want peace, clarity, and like tranquility and stillness, and that's really what I'm craving. And I don't feel bad about it, I don't feel guilty about it, I don't feel like, oh, I should want to go and socialise, oh, I should go and do this. No, I don't want to do it, and I want to be on my own, and I want to do things on my own and come back to my core and come back to, you know, my inner child basically. I'm really craving that, and it's okay if you are too. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that it's provided you with a bit of reassurance, and knowing that you're not alone in this, knowing that this is just that period of time in your life where things are a little bit turbulent, things are a little bit chaotic, and lots is going on, and it's very overstimulating, and it's okay to want to find peace and all of that. And if that means being on your own, then so be it. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.